everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of Tech Taste YYC, the show where I sit down with some of Calgary's most exciting tech companies to learn what they're building, all while tasting incredible food from local restaurants. That's really good.
It's delicious.
Today I'm joined by Matt from ZeroKey. Matt is the CEO of ZeroKey. He formerly was the Chief Innovation Officer of a manufacturing company. In his spare time, he likes to hang out with his schnoodle and his 3 children. Welcome, Matt.
Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
I can't wait. So we're eating Egyptian food today. How do you feel about that?
I don't think I've ever had Egyptian food before, so I'm excited to try something new.
I can't wait. I think our food might be here.
Oh, look at that.
Amazing. So today we have the food from Bread and Rusk. So Bread and Rusk is an Egyptian restaurant on International Ave. So we're gonna start with babusa, a traditional Middle Eastern pastry. It's a semolina cake soaked in sweet syrup, often topped with coconut or nuts. In this case, it looks like it's topped with a little bit of sugar. So Matt, tell me a little bit about what ZeroKey actually does.
Well, I gotta work to eat the food.
Yeah, you gotta work. I'm gonna try it first.
So yeah, ZeroKey, what we do, we've got a unique sensor technology, and we use that to very, very precisely digitize the location of things, factories and warehouses. You think of it like indoor GPS, except it's really accurate. So it's accurate down to 1.5 millimeters. And then we'll use that technology to actually track the location of material, personnel, tools, work product, etc., as it moves through a factory or supply chain environment. So you can kind of think of it kind of like stepping into the matrix, where now from a digital perspective, you've got this perfect understanding of where everything is. And that gives you a lot of intelligence so that you can inform things like process control, you can identify bottlenecks in your manufacturing or your supply chain, and really operate at a high level of excellence in those environments.
Super cool. Well, this square is really good, so we're getting off to a great start. Can't wait to hear what you think. You can have a bite now. Let me know what you think. And I know, Matt, you actually work with a ton of global companies that people are probably going to be surprised they didn't know a local company was working with some of the biggest brands in the world. One, how is your square?
It's excellent. I'm a big sweets guy, so that definitely hits the spot.
I heard you have a donut every morning for breakfast. Is that true? Is that word on the street true?
It is part of my routine, yeah. I am a creature of comfort, and I definitely like to have my Tim Hortons steep tea and my donut every morning.
Could this replace your morning donut?
It definitely could, because I like to change up a little bit, and this would definitely get into the rotation, I think.
I heard that you're working with a lot of the largest car manufacturers in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our biggest sector is automotive, like a lot of the automotive OEMs. We're also big in the aerospace industry. I always make the joke that we service every time zone but our own. That's really the case. We have factories across Europe, across Asia, and the US, of course. The domestic market is big for us. Almost all the major OEMs are using our technology in one way or another right now.
Like BMW, Mercedes, Ford.
All of those.
Come on, name drop for us.
Well, it's basically everyone. The only real OEM that we don't work with today is Tesla, and fingers crossed that might change in the future. But we work with pretty much all of the big ones, and right across a lot of the largest factories in the world. So if you drive a modern car built in the last 5 years, very good chance our technology had some little thing, big or small, to do with it.
Super cool. And so how are they actually using the technology? Is it on the assembly line, or tell us the use case?
Yeah, so assembly line's the big one. You can kind of imagine, just like with all positioning technologies, it's enabling of a whole bunch of different use cases. And so just like GPS allows you to do Uber and self-driving cars and autopilot on planes, indoor location allows you to do things like in the supply chain, so we're navigating a lot of robotics, but we're also doing a lot of process control on the actual assembly line. And so we're tracking tools as they build things and verifying that they've done the correct procedures. If they haven't, we're catching the mistakes exactly when they happen, so it doesn't cost you a huge amount to rework that particular item.
Let's dig into our next treat before we ask for a few more use cases from you. So this one is called Metdala, and it's kind of the same as the babosa, but it has some whipped cream and an extra layer in it. You can kind of see. I don't know if we can get a little bit of a zoom in there, but it has kind of like noodles looking.
I was gonna say it looked like kind of shredded wheat almost.
Yeah, shredded wheat. That's probably better description than noodles. What do you think of it?
Let's see what it tastes like.
It almost has like a baklava vibe to it. That's really good. With the caramel layer on top.
That's really nice. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be too sweet, when I first looked at it, but it actually balances out very nicely.
That one's really good. So for all the ladies at home that might be, less interested in the auto side of things, I heard you have a pretty exciting jewelry client as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that use case?
Yeah, so we've done some work with Tiffany & Co. And in that use case, similar, virtually every company that makes something physical has a manufacturing operations environment. So it doesn't matter if you're building a jet engine or building a car, or in this case, building jewelry, you have the same types of core problems. And so Tiffany & Co., they had this challenge. Basically, they have thousands of work orders that they process at any given time. They're building jewelry, and these are really expensive pieces. Some of them are worth, upwards of $100,000.
More than the cars.
More than the cars, yeah. Yeah, so, it's really a big issue to know where they are at any given time, and also to be able to track the progress through the manufacturing environment. So with them in particular, and I can't get into too many specific details, but we're able to track even a tiny piece of jewelry with our sensor. It's actually one of our newest products. It's called the Dot. It's about the size of a quarter. And it runs on a coin cell battery. You can attach one to a tiny work order. In this case, we're actually putting it in a Ziploc bag with the jewelry, and we're tracking it through the workflow. So you can measure how long it takes to go from one station to the next. You can track and trace in case something gets lost, you know where it was last. You can even integrate in a lot of our customers are doing this. If a very expensive piece of equipment or a very expensive piece of material leaves an area, like a secure area, you can actually timestamp it and correlate it with the security footage. So,
wow.
For example, if you had an employee that were to walk off with one of these accidentally or not, you would be able to understand that in real time and get the exact footage and video frame of when that left the area. So there's a couple different use cases there.
So it's kind of like an Apple AirTag, but I understand that those are a lot less accurate than your technology, and they also have to be in proximity to an iPhone to work.
That's right.
So this is just like hypersensitive. You really have all the data analytics of where it is and what step of the process.
Yeah, and so I'd say there's a couple big differences. The biggest one is accuracy. So we'll tell you, basically to 1.5 millimeters where that is. We'll also do it in real time. So you're getting updates. You can go as high as 20 times per second to get the updates. And so you actually see the movement. And it's kind of funny, if it's a person you're tracking, you can actually track their steps as they walk, and you can measure their gait and all sorts of things just from how accurate that position is.
Watch out.
Yeah. Well, and we have a wearable device that's very similar to a Fitbit. It's not for step tracking or anything like that. It's more for process tracking, but very similar concept.
Are we ready for our next bite? The next one is this mini eclair, which is, of course, a French pastry made from dough, filled with cream and topped with different glazes. I think this one's chocolate, this one. Do you have that one?
I did not get that one.
Oh my goodness.
see if we can fix that.
There's a caramel version and a chocolate.
Oh.
We both have the chocolate. Okay, this looks good. This is I heard you had a Boston cream this morning.
That's right.
So this is kind of your second Boston cream of the day.
Yeah, my diet is out.
Oh, there's like a Nutella center. That is so good.
It's delicious.
I like how the cream literally tastes like Nutella. I don't know if that's the cream or the topping. Probably 100 times better than a donut. Mm-hmm. So you're working with some of the largest brands in the world. Everybody knows Tiffany & Co. Everybody knows these car manufacturers. What was it like when you started to get that traction? Was it kind of a pinch me moment? When did the scale start tipping for you?
So I can't name the name. Unfortunately, they're very sensitive to confidentiality in their space. But there really was a surreal moment. And this particular event was in Japan, and I had never interacted with this customer. It was a big customer. Everyone would recognize the name. And I had been over there on a customer trip. Just the experience of walking through this very, very household name factory that's massive, robotic arms everywhere, automation everywhere, some of the most advanced manufacturing there is. To walk through the facility to a place I'd never been before and see our system already installed, tracking and optimizing a lot of the robotics and the personnel and all of it coming together, it really was, the picture perfect realization of what ZeroKey was supposed to be. So it was honestly just a moment that struck me, now finally gone from what was back of a napkin idea, probably 5 years before that, to now driving, this orchestration of automation in one of the world's biggest factories. So that was a really cool moment.
Calgary's not known for its tech, and it certainly wasn't in 2016. It's not somewhere like Silicon Valley where the eyes of the world are staring at Calgary. So how do you even get on some of these companies' radars?
A couple different answers. Number one, it's never easy. That's the hardest part, is is, after you build a product, you actually have to market, bring it to market and sell it, and also convince people that it's worth investing the money in and taking a chance on when it's a new product. So new product introduction, I think, is one of the hardest things there is to do in business. It's really, really challenging. We got kind of lucky. It's one of those things in any business, you need a fair bit of luck to be successful. We had a partner approach us, and they actually found us. They happened to be coming across Canada scouting technologies. This is a Japanese partner that we work with now called Next Electronics. And they had heard through the ecosystem from some of the events we did, just like this one, that there was this great manufacturing technology they should look at. And next thing you know, they started representing us in Japan and brought us into their customer base, which is quite big. They're a company that's been around for over 50 years. So they distribute and sell into a lot of the biggest companies over there.
So a lot of strong kind of intermediary relationships, seeing the value of your tech.
100%.
And last up, we're gonna sample this mini pocket hot dog and mini pizza. I love it. I didn't know Egyptians ate pizzas and hot dogs, but this is great. Okay, let's go.
Start with pizza?
Yeah, let's start with the pizza. Well, it actually tastes like a full pizza. I like it. It's spicy, hey?
I like the spice.
Me too. That one's awesome. Okay, and then we have these hot dogs.
Pocket dog? Is that?
Pocket dogs on the savory side of things.
All right.
Let's go. We need ketchup.
Maybe the best pocket dog I've had.
Best pocket dog ever. I do like those. I'm gonna give the seeds on it though a downgrade because that was really hard to eat and it feels like it exploded everywhere, but awesome additions to the kind of sweeter plate. So the next segment we're going to get into is more deeply understanding your technology. So tell me what's behind the curtain. How do you achieve 1.5 millimeter accuracy when industry standard is what, 8 meters on a cell phone?
That's right, yeah. So the GPS on your phone, and everyone's had the experience where your GPS isn't quite correct when you're driving or something like that. The typical accuracy on GPS is about plus minus 4 meters, so 8 meter window of uncertainty. Our technology is accurate to 1.5 millimeters. And the way we do that, so number one, it works in indoor environments. So it's not really meant for broad outdoor location, although many of our clients do use it outdoor in specific settings like in the oil and gas industry. But generally the way it works, we use ultrasound. So we'll send an ultrasonic signal, and basically the time difference of receiving those two tells you how far away the thing that generated the pulse was from the thing that received it. And based on doing that a number of different times, they pick up that time difference, convert it to a range, and then from ranges you can actually figure out where it is. So probably a whole bunch of technical jargon there, but it works a lot like GPS. So GPS works on ranges from your phone to all the satellites. In this case, it's ranges from a tracker to all the anchors. And then we use a process called multilateration to convert those ranges to a 3D position in X, Y, and Z.
So that's on the hardware side, and then you also have a software, right? So it must be a pretty powerful software that you've built to be able to take in all of that data.
It's a lot of data. If you can imagine a factory, a big factory, you got thousands of sensors, a lot of them updating at 20 times per second. So you've got, over 20,000 pieces of information coming through every second. And you have to actually translate that to something of value that your customers want. And in a lot of cases, it's like making sure that a tool was in the right location. So its XYZ position is correct. But sometimes it's also that it had the right motion. So for example, you might be applicating an adhesive to a windshield, and you want to track the applicator as it goes all the way around to make sure that you had the right rate of movement and that you had the right coverage. So you can do that as well. But that's what the software side does. It makes sense of all the XYZ numbers and information to translate that to the actual process and verify that you've done the process correctly.
Now let's break that down for those of you that don't speak tech. This is what we call an IoT device, which stands for Internet of Things. That just means that it's a physical object with sensors or electronics inside that can connect to the internet and both send and receive data. You probably already have IoT devices in your home, like a smart thermostat that sends temperature readings to your phone, or a doorbell camera that lets you see who's outside without answering the door. In this case, the IoT devices are small sensors placed around a factory. They start by installing 4 permanent sensors high up on the ceiling. These act as fixed reference points, like anchors, that help the system figure out exactly where every other sensor is in the space. It works a little bit like satellites in a GPS system, but with GPS, the satellites send out light waves, and your phone measures how long they take to arrive. alive. Problem is that light travels so fast that it can be really hard to measure tiny differences in timing, which is why your phone's GPS is only accurate to about 8 meters. In a factory, you need much higher precision. So this system actually utilizes ultrasonic pulses, which are sound waves that travel much slower than light, along with radio waves for communication. Because sound moves more slowly, the system can measure the travel times indoors, which is much smaller spaces, more precisely, which allows it to pinpoint location accuracy within 1.5 millimeters. And this isn't just a flat one-direction measurement. This system tracks position in 3 dimensions. So it knows where something is from both side to side, front to back, and up and down. And that's why it can create a complete 3D map of the space. Once everything's being tracked, the next step is to turn that location data into something useful. So the ZeroKey team works with their customers to find use cases and ideal workflows. For example, a business rule might say that certain tools or machines should never get too close to a person, or they might map out the exact sequence in the production process. Then the software compares that live data to the rules and workflows in real time. If something moves in a way that it shouldn't, or a step is skipped, or done out of order, the system can flag it or even trigger an automatic response to correct it. So this system is really a combination of precise, indoor 3D location tracking and smart software that helps factories run safer, more efficiently, and consistently. Wow, it sounds like a very complicated system that you've made work and clearly is gaining you global recognition. So absolutely congratulations on what you've built.
Thank you.
We're about to wrap up. So what would we rate Bread and Rusk, the Egyptian bakery?
What's it out of?
Ooh, okay, it's out of 10.
Pocket Dog was great. I know you didn't like the sesame seeds.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of sesame seeds, so the Pocket Dog was great. I also liked kind of the cream square with the shredded wheat on it.
Ooh, that one was the Met Dala.
Met Dala.
Met Dala,
Yeah.
okay. So Pocket Dog and Met Dala, an overall rating.
Definitely like a 8 to an 8.5.
Love it. I'm gonna give, I'd say my favorite thing was the pizza or also the Met Dala.
Okay.
And I just kind of wrecked it there. Pizza or Met Dala for me, and I'm gonna give it an 8.7. I absolutely recommend Bread and Rusk if you are looking for a bakery for any meetings or from catering. And I also wanted to shout out to The Bridge, which is a catering company that actually partners with a bunch of local restaurants so that you can find amazing ethnic cuisines for all of your events, and they package tons of different vendors into one package and help you to cater your events. So shout out to The Bridge. Thank you so much for putting us in touch with Bread and Rusk. Thank you so much again to Matt from ZeroKey for coming on the show and for trying some amazing Egyptian food with me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Matt.
This was fun.